Welcome back to Anime Recap, anime fans. Today we're recapping the anime Date A Live. If you want to see part 2 of this one, be sure to let us know in the comments. In this anime, the Earth was devastated by a massive natural disaster that wiped out millions of people. 16-year-old Shido, who lives with his sister Kotori in Japan, is used to living in fear. In their world, they have to constantly wonder if they're going to survive another day. One day, an alarm sounds throughout Japan, warning people of another quake. Citizens rush to underground bunkers. Shido makes it to a bunker safely, but when he checks Kotori's location on his phone and finds her at a random diner, he must leave the safety of the bunker to find her. He rushes through the empty streets of Japan, but before he can find Kotori, the quake happens. Shido is knocked unconscious from the blast. When Shido wakes up right near the crater from the quake, he sees a gorgeous girl standing in the center with a sword. When she spots Shido, she slashes at him but misses. Shido runs, but the girl catches up to him and corners him. Her blade is at his throat, but Shido is saved by the arrival of 5 girls on jetpacks. The girls from the sky shoot missiles at the girl from the quake, saving Shido. All he can do is watch as the white-haired girl from the sky takes on the girl from the quake, and a massive battle breaks out. Eventually, a huge blast knocks Shido unconscious again. Shido wakes up in what looks like a spaceship. After meeting a few people on the ship, they take Shido to their commander. Shido is shocked to find that his sister Kotori is the commander of the ship. Obviously, Shido is pretty confused, but Kotori insists she doesn't have the time to explain. She tells Shido that the haired girl he saw in the crater was a spirit, and these spirits are responsible for the devastating quakes. Nobody knows why they've started coming to Earth and creating chaos. The government created the AST, the Anti-Spirit Team. Those are the girls he saw fighting with the spirit. The next day, Shido goes back to school as usual, which is what Kotori told him to do. But he recognizes people from the ship from the day before, like Rain, who is now one of his teachers. Shido finds Kotori and Rain in a sort of control room within the school, and they explain Shido's training so that he can join Kotori's organization. His training features a dating simulation game, much to Shido's embarrassment. After weeks of training within the simulation, Kotori tells Shido that the next step of his training requires him to use his new dating skills in the real world. Shido runs into the white-haired Tobichi, who is a member of the AST. Using his new training, Shido asks her on a date, which she agrees to, not realizing it's part of Shido's training. Moments later, another quake alarm goes off. Kotori tells Shido to get out of the school over the headset, so he runs with Tobichi. It turns out the same spirit from the other day has attacked Earth again, this time focusing right on the school. Kotori instructs him to practice his training with her, since the AST cannot fight in enclosed spaces. Shido finds the spirit in a ruined classroom. By flirting, Shido gets her to reveal a lot of personal information. He finds out that she doesn't know how she ended up here, and doesn't remember her real name or her past. She seems sad by this revelation. Shido names her Toka, since she doesn't have a real name, and she's thrilled. The AST finally show up and try attacking Toka. Toka easily blocks their missiles with her force field, protecting her and Shido. When Tobichi spots Shido, she is overwhelmed with the need to protect him from Toka and attacks Toka directly, even though it's against orders. Now, Toka and Tobichi face off in another massive battle, turning the school into a ruin. The next day, Shido is observing the damage the school took when Toka shows up asking Shido about their date. Despite his confusion, Shido takes Toka out on the town. Toka is thrilled by all the food she finds, but isn't a fan of all the people around. Toka reveals that when she attacks Earth, it's against her will, because she is just sent there. Today, she isn't attacking Earth because she chose to be here with Shido. Toka and Shido have a great date, and they end it by watching the sunset. But Shido notices something, and blocks a blast meant for Toka, who Tobichi attempted to shoot. Shido falls to the ground bleeding out, and Toka is furious. Tobichi falls to her knees, shocked that she accidentally hit Shido. Toka, in her anger, rages and opens up a huge rift in the sky. Toka transforms to her spirit form and attacks Tobichi with all her might. Right before she is about to kill Tobichi, Toka hears Shido calling her name. Shido, who is somehow now alive and healed, falls into Toka's arms from the sky. Toka explains that because of her anger, her sword has become too powerful. Shido kisses her, forcing her sword to explode. Because their kiss sealed her powers, Toka becomes a citizen of Earth. She goes to Shido's school and even moves into his house, which Tobichi seems to hate. Kotori also reveals that there are more spirits like Toka, and Shido will have to keep kissing them to subdue them like he did with Toka. Another alarm sounds, and Shido sees that there is a spirit in green who seems very calm at the center of a quake. He recognizes her from a few days ago. Her name is Yoshino. The AST try cornering her, but she runs away, seeking shelter in an abandoned building. Shino goes to her and tries using his charms to calm her down. Yoshino only talks to him through her stuffed rabbit. Yoshino plays on a playset and she falls off. Yoshido tries catching her, and as he does, their lips touch. Shido is shocked to find a furious Toka in the corner, and she witnessed the whole thing, including the kiss. She mocks Yoshino and picks a fight with her. Yoshino summons a demonic-looking rabbit to fight for her, and soon enough, she flees. The next day, Shino spots Yoshino in the rain. He helps her look for her puppet, and eventually they find it. But now the AST is looking for Yoshino again. Yoshino loses control and goes crazy with her demonic rabbit, but Shino is able to get through to her by using the puppet. Yoshino starts to cry when she realizes the destruction she has caused, but Shino comforts her. He then kisses her, sealing her powers away. The next day, we learn that a house for the spirits has been created. So Toka and Yoshino move in. Another new girl named Kurumi transfers into Shido, Toka, and Yoshino's class, and she tells the entire class that she's a spirit. Shido also runs into a young girl named Mana, who claims to be his long-lost baby sister. Shido finds out Mana is actually a member of the AST. They also find out that Kurumi is one of the most deadly spirits. Nevertheless, Shido takes her out on a date. He has a good time, but when he tries to leave, Kurumi attacks him. She nearly kills him, but Mana shows up and sends Kurumi flying into the air. Mana shoots Kurumi and is sure Kurumi won't bother them anymore. Mana is shocked the next day in school when Kurumi shows up. Shido tells her he wants to save her, which really pisses her off. She goes to the rooftop of the school and spreads a blood-red force field, making everyone in the school weak. Shido is the only one unaffected, and he confronts Kurumi on the roof. On the roof, Kurumi tells Shido that she's going to create a huge quake that would kill everyone in the school since they are too weak to run away. Shido jumps off the roof to force her to call the quake off, which she does with a snap of her fingers. It seems like Shido has convinced Kurumi to change and be good. But she is killed when an arm shoots through her stomach and another Kurumi appears. Mana appears to fight Kurumi, who reveals that she can reverse time. Mana is unable to keep up with Kurumi's constant time travel, and Kurumi can also copy herself, making her basically impossible to beat. Kurumi brings Toka and Tobichi to the roof and then creates a huge snake. The quake is stopped and everyone is shocked to see Kotori floating in the air wearing the dress of a spirit. Kurumi and Kotori embark on a massive battle, but Kotori is actually able to keep up with Kurumi. Eventually, Kotori is distracted by protecting Shido, and Kurumi uses her special ability and makes Kotori weak, and she is barely able to move. Despite this, Kotori unleashes a huge cannon blast on Kurumi. Kotori is about to finish the fight even though Shido tells her not to kill Kurumi. But Kotori doesn't listen. Shido jumps in front of Kurumi to save her from the cannon blast. The blast fires off, but misses them slightly. Shido wakes up in a hospital and Kotori shows up and finally explains everything to him. She reveals that 5 years ago she woke up with her current powers, with no idea how she got them. Shido has to kiss her like he did the other spirits to seal her powers. Later on, Rain tells Shido he only has a few days to save Kotori from her powers. Shido goes to see Tobichi in the hospital. Tobichi reveals that Kotori is the spirit who killed her parents, though she doesn't realize it is really Kotori. Either way, she is desperate to avenge her parents. Shido keeps the information of the spirit's true name to himself. Shido takes Kotori, Toka, and Yoshino to a water park on a date. Shido eventually gets Kotori alone and tries getting information out of her about what happened 5 years ago. Suddenly, Tobichi appears and shoots Kotori with a huge blast. She keeps Shido from helping Kotori, insisting she has to kill Kotori. Kotori puts on her dress and her and Tobichi begin to fight. Eventually, Kotori is about to shoot Tobichi with her cannon until Tobichi accuses Kotori of killing her parents, which makes Kotori stop in her tracks. Tobichi uses this to her advantage and goes to kill Kotori, but Toka and Yoshino reappear and block the shot, while Kurumi watches from a rooftop nearby. While Tobichi is distracted, Shido takes Kotori to a secluded spot and kisses her, finally sealing away her powers. Tobichi finds them, but falls to the ground, suddenly unable to continue fighting. Let us know who your favorite spirit is in the comments below, and be sure to like this if you want to see a part 2.